Hey, today we welcome in Anaima Garcia, who joins us from the Dominican Republic. And Anaima, you have a very interesting and important job. The Latin ball players the Orioles sign, and some are signed as young as 16 years old from various nations, many from the Dominican and Venezuela and other places, are looking to learn English as a second language, which will benefit them greatly when they're playing in the United States, because obviously there's a million reasons it'll benefit them. But tell me a little bit about, before we get into that process, how you came to join the Orioles, and then we'll talk more about that.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me. I've been working in baseball for close to 4 years now. I started at the Office of the Commissioner, where I had the opportunity to work with all clubs here in the DR, collaborate with their education programming, and just having the opportunity to get, as the years went by, get closer to the player. It created something within me where I wanted to contribute more closely to their development, to help, create the best player that you can.
And it sounds like it's going wonderfully for the Orioles. You're working with a lot of players here. You told me before we started recording over 100. That's quite a large group. Give us a little bit insight now as to the process of what you're doing and how you're working with these guys.
So we started out this summer with a new program, new methodology. So it was pretty much just, we started the program by me building relationship with each of our players. I decided that I wanted to spend individual sessions with our players where I got to know them better. I got to find out what they wanted to do, what their dreams were, what they liked, what they didn't like. And once I grouped them into, let's say, meaningful groups for me to be able to work with them, we rolled out the program. We worked a little bit on how the distance learning was going to happen and what was expected of them. And 2 months in, all of our players are diligently getting into the Zoom calls, studying on their own, and providing results, recording themselves for, to show us that they have acquired the knowledge. And right now we're getting ready for our next learning module, where the players keep calling me like, when are we starting? When is the next learning going to happen? I'm really, really looking forward to getting to Sarasota next year and being able to communicate with the staff there.
And there must be some challenges there in the Dominican, some of them, not all. You're in the Dominican, but yet maybe not all might not even have access to internet or a computer. I mean, beyond just what you're doing, there must be logistical challenges.
Yes, there are. And what we have done as an organization is just give them different scenarios for them to study. We want them to feel that so long as they put in the work, their effort will be taken into consideration. Some of our players had to go to a neighbor's house just to get on their Wi-Fi and take their online class. Many of our players prefer having that one-on-one interaction via Zoom than maybe studying on their own. And it is the fact of trying to reach diverse learners with diverse learning, skill sets, and trying to bring all that into Zoom, which isn't as diverse. It's kind of difficult, but it's not impossible. And as the weeks have passed, they feel much more comfortable. They're able to even create their own Zoom calls, use online tools to create projects for their classes. And we had to recognize those guys with their effort, just, buying internet just so that they could log in. But at the end of the day, they did it because they understood that it was good for their language learning. They were thrilled to improve this summer.
It must be so incredible for you on one end to see the improvement, and them on the other end to see their own improvement, to to challenge them to keep going and realize, wow, look at what has happened so far, and I'm just getting started.
most definitely. And it's not just the internet. Some of them may be in remote areas in the DR where there was no electricity. We recently had a hurricane season that also affected their ability to get online, but we provide asynchronous options where they can just download everything, study, and then we find the best time to get on a Zoom call and have that in-person, session.
So your Zoom calls, are some with everybody, or are there segmented groups you're working with?
It depends on the part of the program that we're at. We usually keep meetings no bigger than 12 students. So we try to keep it pretty limited just so that they all get a chance to participate. That is what I meant by results oriented. You come into the Zoom call, but I want to hear you say something. I want to hear you ask questions. And our players understanding that they are not passive learners in this process has been quite the challenge. Is whenever you're ready, but I want to hear you say something, put it to practice. The more you practice it, the better it'll be for your language acquisition process.
So there's probably some obvious reasons and ways this will benefit them. But tell me some that might not be obvious to me as a reporter, that when a player gets to Sarasota or Salisbury or Frederick or Bowie, this is going to help them.
Well, I think that it may not be as obvious, but I think that just being able to communicate is the biggest thing for them, because some of the players that I worked with were scared to even say hello. Don't ask me to say anything beyond that. But besides being able to communicate with their coaches, to be able to understand what the coach is asking you to improve, being able to, order a meal, be able to, show that you respect people that are providing you with a service. What I tell my players is life is full of opportunities. And if you show others, respect, your doors will open. You don't know where you'll be tomorrow or what you will be doing. But, having that English is kind of like a Swiss Army knife where, okay, I have the English, I have values, I have these skills, and just giving them all of those tools, because I try to teach them to think ahead. Don't look at now. Maybe in your baseball career, we explore different opportunities of things they could do just because they know English. So it could be even that. It could be maybe even dating someone. It's good for you to know how to express yourself properly, and how to get by, not only with your peers, but with your superiors, making a good first impression. It could open doors for you down the road. And those are the scenarios that we have discussed right now. Just, surviving in Sarasota. And I mean, you're not going to eat chipotle every day, I guess. And it has really helped them become more confident and understand. What I usually tell them as well is Ramon is not going to be with you when you need to order a meal. He's not going to be translating for you all the time. So let's become independent learners and just develop your language skills.
You're teaching these kids a lot more than just English as a second language.
I think it's all part of, developing an integral baseball player. It is much more than baseball, because I think that if you're going to get there, I want you to have all the tools. You never know. We've seen so many cases with the media, with the way you handle your money. There are so many things that could keep you from getting where you want to be. So it's not just the baseball, it's the language, it's the skills, right. It's Swiss Army knife. We want you to be ready.
Now, I understand you even had an award ceremony on Zoom. Is it just to let the top performers know how well they're doing?
Yes, it was a fantastic event. We needed to recognize our players. They were selflessly just ready to attack this season with, you know, learning the language that they had, because it was not just English, the language that they'd been assigned. And we decided to host something just to recognize the players that had like perfect attendance, and we named them after special MLB awards, like our MVBs or our all-star players. And they felt like, wow, I have been recognized for my effort. It is expected of me, but it is good that I was also recognized for doing this. And it just boosted their morale. They felt like, wow, I'm actually accomplishing something. And, you know, it made either some of the other players were like, oh, so I was going to be recognized. I should have worked a little harder, because next time, teacher, I'm going to be the MVP or I'm going to be the all-star. So that really helps them be better and improve and develop that growth mindset that we have as an organization.
Well, I think the players are lucky to have you around, and this sounds like a fantastic program. The Orioles are doing right by these young kids, and they got a great person in place. So, Anaima, I think I said it right or close to right several times in this interview.
Yes.
So I should get my own award ceremony for that.
Yes, you should.
But I appreciate you taking time today, and thanks so much for what you're doing and telling me a little bit about it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve, for having me, and it was a pleasure talking to you.